services, at your local church or volunteering. Well, why not volunteer services for entrepreneurship? Because to be honest, there's a lot of people that want to be entrepreneurs, and they're really going through this world alone as an entrepreneur. I don't know about you, but that's how I felt when I first started this journey, right? So it would be great if I had a friend that was like, hey, look, I got this and I got that for you, and and we can learn together, right? That would have been great, right? And so for all of those who are sharing, you're blessing people without knowing it, and the blessings will come back, right? And that's how I feel about this platform. So many people are gonna be blessed, right? From you just saying, hey, this is what I was able to learn from my mentors, from people who that I have access to, that not a lot of people have access to, right? So let's go ahead and see who else we got here on the call. Miss Carla Wynn, the usual prospects. How are you? Great morning, great morning.
Great morning, great morning. I am well. I'll be right downstairs in just a sec. That's why my camera is up this
I know how
morning.
you feel. I know how you feel.
Okay.
Let me see. Who do we have here? All right, Mr. Del Boudreaux, our crazy Cajun. I know you're feeling the cold too over there, right? You're not too far from us. How are you, sir? Up and Mr. Major. Welcome, welcome. Look at all of these people, lovely people on Facebook, right? So let's go ahead. We're gonna get started, right? So who wants to share um on our call today? So I know Miss Carla always has some wonderful insights, and she's preparing us with her hand raised. I knew it before she raised her hand. That
Yes,
she was raising her hand. So go
this
ahead.
week has this week has been quite the week of learning and things of that nature. Actually, I have a couple of things to share. One is related to the what we learned on our rally calls, and one is not. So I'm going to go to the one that's not first. So Mr. Bean has recommended that we read or listen to Robert Kiyosaki's Raising Your Financial IQ. And one of the things that I learned this week in that particular book is that entrepreneurs are problem solvers. So if we can solve a financial problem, then we will be able to, be successful entrepreneurs. And another quick reflection that I got was actually from Thursday when Brandon C. and Calvin Rodriguez hosted the rally calls. And this is something that I remember too, because I've worked in the field of workforce development for a long time. So people only buy or hire or look for a service to solve a problem. And that when we ask the right questions, we will elicit the prospect or the potential buyer to think about a problem or series of problems that we can help them to solve. So those are the two reflections I wanted to share this week. Thank you so very much, Ms. Angel, for allowing me to share. Thank you to the Beans for the platform, and thank you to our angel investors, and especially my personal angel investor, Mrs. Johnson, for allowing me to return to this platform for one more month.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. Well, first of all, thank you for being that rock solid, crash camper every Saturday, right? So, and for showing up for you and your future, team, right? And so, thank you for doing that, because it's because of you all who show up every single Saturday that this works and this is able to pass on, and thank you for always being one of the first ones to share, right? We really appreciate that as well. So, with what you said is perfect coming out for the very first time, because for the very first part of this call, because that is the meat and potatoes of sales that you just shared, right? If you don't find the your client's problem that they need to solve, then there will be no sale. That is the main thing. If they don't have a problem to solve, then you don't have a solution for them. Right. And so that's where the sale actually happens if they have a problem. Like if you come up to somebody and you say, well, I'm selling dog food. And they say, I don't have a dog. Well, they don't have a problem, right? So how are you going to solve that problem, right? You can't, because they don't have a dog. They don't have that problem, right? So that's the same thing in any sales, right? Sometimes when we are not actually, and that's where the fact finding, like you said, the fact finding questions make a very big difference, is because we are finding out, like, what is it that they truly need. When you fact find and when you ask those hard questions, that means you really care, to be honest, right? If you don't care, if you don't care about a person, then you won't ask a lot of questions about them, right? But if you do care, then you're going to ask questions because you want to know what L Green or what any of your investments can do for them in their life. What is it going to change for them? It's not about you, right? If you're just going in there to talk about the products or talk about whatever it is, then it's all about you still. But when you're in there and digging and saying, what is it that you want? How do you want to invest? If you're not an investor right now, when do you want to start? Right? When you're very interested in how they are doing and what they want to do in their life. And that will open a person up more. So when we call it the hard questions, but it's not really hard questions. It's called deep diving questions, really, right? We label it hard questions because it's hard for us, but it's really connecting with your customers. Those type of questions, really, right? Because you allow them to be transparent, the transparency to come out, and a lot of times we run away from those questions because we to be honest, we may not want to know what the real answer is, because we may not know how to answer those how to respond to those questions that we ask, right? And so that's why we shy away from it. So great start out. Thank you. Appreciate that. And of course, Robert Kiyosaki and learning all that and that's what I love about it. See, you have something now that you can share with others, right? Mr. Bean has blessed you and passed it on to you, and now you can bless others in this journey of entrepreneurship, and being able to pass these type, because there's so many self-help, so many books, and so by having a mentor who has shifted through, I don't know, millions if not audios and stuff, and really giving you the ones that are really effective for you, and being able to break that down is amazing to me, right? And I would never do anything ever to lose that access, right? So let's go to the next person, Miss Gwendolyn Weber. You're up
Good
next.
morning. Good morning, Miss Angel.
Great
Crash.
morning.
I got two takeaways. For this week rally call was with Seth. And one of them was with a caller. One of the other people that called, his name was Leo, and he said that he went through the call by saying I'm not going to get good at this if I don't practice. So, and I'm like, that's if I don't practice it, I'm not going to get good at it. So Miss Laura was got with us as a team and helped us to write out the PS5. So this whole week I've looked at it every day. I reprinted it. Miss Carla put it in for us, and I reprinted it for myself. So I haven't practiced as much as I want, but I have looked at it and read it at least a couple of times every day. And just, then the other reflection I got was when Seth also talked about to leave a voicemail, and he said leaving a voicemail and just say something like, you be creative, but he did say something like, when you leave a voicemail, I have something special for you, which would give the client a reason to call you back. And I'm not good at leaving voicemails. I'm not even good for checking the voicemails. So all of these things I know will help apply to my everyday life. But I appreciate it, and I help, and I'm thankful for it. Grateful for the platform, grateful for Mr. and Mrs. Bean, for you, Miss Angel, for my leader, Miss Laura. Just grateful that all of this helps make my own life better. And I'm just grateful for right now for just getting better and just continue to practice and get better. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Miss Gwendolyn. And another one that's always here on Crash Camp every week, and like you said, the PS5, right? That is the script, right? That's the book that you are learning right now. So you being in it every single day, we can tell. We can definitely tell, right? How smooth your intros and things are, because you have the script and you're reading from the script. And even though there's things that I don't need the script anymore, I still read it. I still have it in front of me, right? Just for reference sometimes, right? Because sometimes, have you ever just on a day just go blank out of nowhere, right? Or you had so many things, and something like technology, like this morning for me trying to get on, it throws you off. And as a green, once we get thrown off our little outline, we're like, oh my God, where do I jump in now? Right? It just throws us greens off, right? We need order and there's chaos, right? So in order for me to actually learn in this space in GCU, I actually had to throw myself into chaos as a green, just to learn how to become better, right? I just had to throw in chaos, and I cringe every single time I throw myself into chaos. But, but that's how I grew, right? And so, exactly how you're doing it is exactly how we have all done it. What you've seen in me, Miss Laura Johnson, some of the people that have been here since like the beginning of this platform, right? It's because we have been here longer. So you're looking at our 20 years versus your day 5, day 10, even day 30, right? Right? So that's the only difference. It's repetition. We're doing it every day. We're utilizing it every day. So now it's become nature to us, right? And that's what's going to happen if you do the same thing. If you are in this program, and you're utilizing it and you're reading it every day, it's just going to become nature to you as well, right? And I got to give a shout out to our Queen Bean, because she was in the feed. That's, if you saw me laughing, that's why, because I was actually updating on the feed. So yes, ma'am, I will try my best to bring the heat for Houston. Thank you, Miss Bean, for chiming in this morning on our call. Oh man, I mean, you guys are really laying it out right now, and I love it, because this is what it's all about. It's not about who it is hosting or who is here. It's about you all who show up, and I'm just very thankful for those of you that are showing up for the platform, for the beans, and for yourself as well. So Miss Laura Johnson, here we come. One of our aces. How are you? Great
I am
morning.
great this morning. I'm awesome. I'm great, and always, as always, happy to be here. Just overjoyed and full of gratitude for the platform, and for each and every person that is showing up, as you said, Angel, and absolutely over the top, overflowing grateful for Mr. and Mrs. Bean, because they are the catalysts that really started all of this, and their willingness to serve, their love for us and for our improvement is really it's sacrificial, because they do it because they want to, and they have a desire to see people get better. And so because of that, you know, I'm willing to submit myself to the process because, you know, here I am, a grown adult woman, and I'm following a script and I'm doing all of these things that sometimes seem a little opposite to who I should be. You know, I'm independent, I'm strong, and all of this. But really, our strength lies in submitting to the process because the process is perfect. The process is what helps us to move forward with strength and power, which brings me to my reflection for this week. You know, I like you, am a green, and so I put a lot of thought into things. And so on Tuesday, Seth said, you know, when you are thinking about presenting your product, you have to ask yourself, you know, why me? Why my product? And why now? And so those three questions, when you ask yourself, you know, you then begin to believe more in your own product. And you also begin to understand how you can have a higher level of certainty about speaking with people about what we have, right? We then have the bullet points. Why me? Why would someone want to do business with Laura Johnson? What makes me someone that's attractive? Why my product? Why would they want to participate in El Green? And that always goes to, you know, us doing the deep dive and finding out their reason. And then why now? What's important about doing it now? So those were questions that I really took to heart. And I sat down because Mr. Bean last week gave us a challenge. He said, not only find a nugget and report it here, but implement it. Implement it. Why? You know, do what are you doing now with the nugget that you found? So I had to answer those questions for myself. So, you know, I'm excited about that. And he also referenced the ebook that's in the back office of Grant Cardone University, Sell or Be Sold. And so it's in Cardone U, so we can all reference that ebook so that we can each answer the question, why me? Why my product? And why now? So thank you for allowing me to share.
Great, great. Thank you for sharing that. And, you know, thank you for, being the, I guess you could say that, one of the ambassadors of, this platform, right? Because we can see, uh, not only are you here and your team is here, right? So we know that not only are you here to show up for yourself and you're here to be a part of this program, but you are also doing what you are saying that you're doing, which is sharing the program, because majority of your team is here, right? And we can see it, and we see them growing every single day, and you must be like a proud mama. I know how it is to see them all from the beginning to you see their growth. And it's like and what you mentioned with Mr. and Mrs. Bean is like, it is like I said, a thankless job to be a mentor, right? The things that they do provide for us. And think about it, 3,000 grown-up children is a little bit hard to bear, right? All with different personalities, all with different things that challenges and things, so it's like parenting 101 all day, every day for them. So yes, let's thank them, please, for for providing that mentorship to us, because we know we are a challenge, and we love that they have taken their time to do what is necessary, not even do the minimum, but do what is necessary to help us grow. And I can't vouch for anybody but myself, right? But thank God you are my mentors, right? Because I needed some growing up to do, right? A lot during this thankful 6-year relationship with them, right? So they've seen me at my baby stage, and I hope to make them proud at my graduation, right? One day. My graduation stage, right? So you made a powerful point, Miss Laura Johnson, because that, a lot of times, like in these type of programs, we're concentrating on the client. We're concentrating on our prospects. We're there, and we're just digging and learning about our client, and it's all about our client. But what we don't do is point the finger back at us, right? And so if you're trying to sell somebody, but you're not sold yourself, like, and that's the ebook you're talking about, right? You have to be first sold yourself. And a lot of times we're asking the clients these questions: why you? Why L Green? Why now? But we don't point that finger back to us and ask ourselves, why us? Why L Green? And why now? Because that is going to, right, cause us to, number one, why me? Now you are accountable because you have a why to be doing what you're doing. Why? And then you said, why Al Green? Now you're accountable because you know what it is that Al Green is going to do for not only you, but for the people that are coming into your future, that what you want to do for them, right? The reason. And then why now? That's going to kick your butt so that you can go out there and do it right now. Because a lot of times we don't ask why now. That's the last question. And that's the question that is always missing. Why now? Because if we ask ourselves why now, then we would be doing a lot more than what we're doing right now. Right? And so if those are very powerful. So if you put that into your thing every morning when you're waking up, why me? Why am I doing the investment club? You don't have to say, oh, Green, what am I doing? Why am I doing the investment club? Why am I a part of the investment club? Right? And think about why now? Every day. Right? And a lot of people, they ask me, like, how can you be disciplined every day? Because that's what I wake up with. I always ask myself, why now? Over the holidays, the children were driving me crazy because they were home every day. So why now? Why now? Because because of that. Every time I see a challenge, I'm like, this is why. This is why I do what I do. This is why I do it. Because the children are driving me crazy, I got to do it now. Right? Because, all of this, whatever it is, right? When challenges come, just say, why now? Because that's going to create that that urgency. Oops, sorry about that. I need more coffee, right? For you, not for the customer. And the customer might not have urgency if you don't have urgency for yourself. Right? It's reciprocated, right? You are the objections. You are what your customers are not. And me being laid back then was having my clients laid back as well. Like, sure, no worries. They're like, sure, no worries. I'll get started like 3 years later. Okay. Right? So great, powerful points, Miss Laura Johnson. So thank you for sharing that. And we're gonna go to Miss Marva. Good morning. Go ahead and unmute. There we go.
There you go.
There
Good
we
morning,
go.
everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for selecting me to speak. Last week, we were given homework, and Mr. Bean said he wanted us to pull the nuggets like Miss Laura just referred to, something from each day. So I have Monday through Thursday. I'm not in perfect attendance yet, but that's my goal. So on On Monday, Dave said, set a target to finish. Anything you want to finish, you want to achieve, you have to set a target. So, in saying that, my target is first quarter order. Clean house, get things right so I can move forward and finish strong in 2024 to achieve some of my goals that I have in my little, repertoire of goals and things I need to achieve to make my life better than last year. So, on Tuesday, Seth said, overcoming objections. For instance, a cost objection. We have to introduce our product or, our project with certainty and, convince our customers or relate to them how we are certain that it has the ability to solve some of their problems, which in most cases they have goals they want to achieve, not the funds to achieve it. So when we can do that, and then on Wednesday, why was it Brandon said, can you guarantee? Someone said, can you guarantee me that your product is going to do whatever? And then we can go back to last week's Book of Bean quote. The only thing certain is death. And then I would go back to them with the second thing is that certain is if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you always got. So why not try something different and see if you can move forward with it? Thursday, the other Brandon S says, what did he say? How many leads does it take? Well, you definitely have to put yourself out there and introduce yourself and the product or the offering that we have according to the script in order to see if we can set the appointments. So, we have to get out there and present the solution for their need for money to get them on a Zoom as soon as possible to show them so we don't give them inaccurate information, set the appointment, and then send that calendar email appointment as a follow-up while they're on the phone. So those are the things that I learned. And then reflecting on what Miss Laura said, the why me, and was it why me, why now, why my product and why now? So it's why me because they're giving you that opportunity based on their perception of your integrity, and you don't want to do anything to flaw that. So you have to move forward with integrity and confidence in what you're offering. And then why now? The product, it solves or could solve their problem a little sooner than the current path they're on to gaining or achieving the goals that they have for themselves. And why now? It puts you closer to your goal. And like you said, a sense of urgency to get them started. So that's all I have.
Hey,
And
that's a
thank you. I
lot.
hope
So
that helps somebody.
That's oh, that in itself is a lot, right? So you have great notes, and you did the assignment, which is to, go in there and find a nugget every day from each and every one of the rally calls, right? And you did, and showing up is showing up, and even if you do not show up, not able to show up, if you are watching the replay, that's showing up too, right? A lot of times we have to forgive ourselves for not being perfect, right? And do what is required. So you showing up all the time on 9 a.m. is may or may not happen, but you taking that time to do it later on is perfect. Right? Because perfection is actually our definition of perfection. Right? And it's not a universal definition. It's what we think is perfect. Think about that. That is our are, right? And when we try to be perfect, it's also limiting to us, right? And it's not going to happen. And so we have to be forgiving for ourselves on days that we don't get on, but we have either watched it again, rewatch it, or done everything in our power that we could do, because stuff happens in life, right? And when you walk every day in forgiving yourself for the things that you haven't done, but you can correct, that's the strive to excellence that you want, right? Because you don't want to go for perfect, you want to go for excellence. And if you've done everything in your power to be excellent, then that's what it is, more than showing up every single time, because things will happen. And sometimes we are the hardest on us, because when we make a mistake or when we do something that is not perfect, a lot of us greens, like, we sit there for a while. You know, we stop doing things, and we kind of, you know, blame ourselves for a while. And that I had to get over quickly, right? And learning how to not be perfect and not try to be perfect and not have to have everything perfect before I do something. That was hard. That was hard. And that's why I said I had to throw myself in chaos, right? Just to be okay with chaos, right? And comfortable with chaos. And so you know who you are, and you know what you do. And so, like, you know, like for some blues, right? For them, being organized is chaos to them, right? Because they're never organized, right? For the blues, right? So that's what I mean. You have to know who you are. Like you said, why me? Who you are, because the more you know about yourself, the more you can help yourself also get out of who you are, if you understand. And being able to do that. And that's why mentors like Mr. and Mrs. Bean are so helpful, or even, you know, your senior business partners like Ms. Laura Johnson is to her team, right? To where she can be that objective to share things like that. And that's why it's always great to have conversations with your senior business partners, right? And listen objectively, because a lot of times we want to do our own thing, but our own thing is also in our own frame of thinking, and what we've been doing. And if we want to break that cycle, we need someone else to help break that cycle, right? Not us, right? So it's good to have more conversations, like Mr. Bean said, re-engage, right? Engage. And I made that a priority for this year, to have more conversations with my team members, and, you know, and all those deep diving questions. Why we tend to not only just for our, you know, prospects or clients that are coming in, but also for our team members too, right? And so connection this year is a big deal for me. And I'm going to work on my connections with people. So have what you want to do this year, because you'll be able to grab, once you make that statement, you'll be able to grab everything towards that, right? Everything will go towards that goal of yours. So take that time, like Miss Laura Johnson and Mava, she just took her whys, right? Why me, why the product, and why now? And she just answered that right then and there, right? And now what you're gonna see is the law of attraction is gonna go towards that. And why the product, you can deeper dive, right, into different products. Like, you don't want to just say, why the product, why general, why Al Green of all. You should know what is the features, advantages, and benefits of each and every platform that you go in. So sit down and write down, like, what are the features, you know, advantages and benefits of Al Green compared to the other ones, right? So if you know each and every single one, you'll be able to, when a client says, well, you were telling me about SEF, so why now Al Green? Why now? And I can sit there and say, well, this is why Al Green. I love, you know, I love what SEF was doing, but this is why I love Al Green. Al Green is consistent. Al Green is that, like you should have those type of things already sold to yourself. So you can now share that to other people. So if you don't have those features, advantage, and benefits for you, then most likely you're not going to have it for your clients as well, right? Great morning, great morning. All right, Miss Arlene George, welcome to the call, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. All right, so I hear Sarah's reverb, but that's okay too. Thank you for hosting this platform this morning, giving us what I call our Saturday dose, our Saturday injections. This is exactly what the doctor ordered. Thank you to the Beans for having this platform available to us. And I had a double whammy this week with the module as well as the class by the new trainer on coach on Friday. And he was talking about drill to skill. And he was coaching this particular individual through their script, but he also walked them through the process of what does drill to skill look like? And drill to skill looks like what Grant Cardone talks about in the ability to predict. It's one of the modules called the ability to predict. And he said, people want to say yes. So practice getting people to say yes. Practice getting to that yes. You have to skill to the yes, because that's what leads to mastery. And he said, mastery is what leads to the ability to predict. And it takes complete dedication of drilling to skill. And he said, drilling to skill is not only when you get on the phone with the client, drilling to skill starts before then. It starts with when you wake up in the morning, role playing and affirmations. He also said that it starts with you have to recommit to it daily. It takes a daily recommitting to drilling your skill to get there. He said it takes studying the entire sales process. He said he takes studying and reading. And he said, while you're studying and you're reading, don't let too much information, because you're going to take a lot of information in. Don't let too much information overwhelm you. Take the pieces that are significant and then stay focused on why you're drilling and what you're drilling and skilling for. And for me, my drilling skill started in October, November timeframe when Mr. Bean did the goal setting. And the skill that I wanted to develop at that point was working out. And I get up 5 days a week and I work out. If I don't do it in the morning, Sarah drags me to the gym, and I started with that skill set. And it's become a habit such that I missed 2 days this week and I felt out of sorts, like what's missing? And I realized it was my workout. The next skill that I developed was getting up in the morning and doing my Bible study and my Grant Cardone to start my day, getting back into that habit, getting back into building my skill and my faith and building my skill set for business. And now the next skill set that I am adding to that, to drill, to skill, is prospecting and reaching out to individuals. So, and you've done an excellent job at training on that too. So thank you for this time. Thank you for the platform. And I appreciate being able to be here today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Arlene. And well, that is, powerful stuff that she just shared, right? Drilling. And she says it's not just drilling, drilling with the prospects. It's what you're doing every day is going to attribute to that, right? And so waking up and role playing, and that's why if you notice when you're on the GCU, they say before they even get on the calls with us at the 9 a.m. rallies, before that, they have their own role plays, right? They have their own role plays. They have their own things that they're doing from 8 to 9, and then we're here, and then they hop on the call with us at 9. right? So they're already role playing from like 8 o'clock in the morning for themselves already and doing what it is for their development, right? Before they come and share and then passing it on to us, right? So and that whatever you're doing is not it's not just at the time. You're drilling like every single day, and like she shared with us, right? Her skill of going to the gym every day. 2 days she missed and she feels off. And that's what you want. You want, write down a list. What do you want to accomplish this year? Like she did, right? What are your goals for this year? If it's prospecting, like she said, right? I'm gonna go off of that, right? The reason why I'm good at prospecting is the exact reason why she's good at going to the gym right now. My prospecting didn't happen but 3 years ago, right? And my prospecting was the same thing that she did with the gym. I went every single day, right? Because prospecting you can do every single day, right? So 7 days a week, right? I would prospect 7 days a week. I would go every single day and send out, and Mr. and Mrs. Bean know this because they see I have my IPAs for them every day. I send that to them, right? Because, earlier when I learned from Mr. and Mrs. Bean is you're only accountable if you have somebody that's looking at your numbers. So I have to send them my accountability so that I can be accountable to myself, because I will be very sad when I send them zeros, right? Right. I'm gonna feel some uncomfortable, right? Like if you have a coach that, like Dr. Arlene is working out. If you have a fitness coach and they ask you like, how many reps did you do today? What did you do? And you're like, oh no, I didn't go to the gym. I was sitting eating donuts on a couch. They're gonna be like, oh, you don't want to tell them that, right? So you don't want to tell them whoever. So pick an accountability partner that you don't want to disappoint. Don't pick an accountability partner that you're okay with. Pick an accountability that will really keep you accountable, right? And give them your numbers every single day and see how you feel about that, right? So filling big zeros is like, oh, did I just send like 0, 0, 0, 0 down the line to Mr. and Mrs. Bean? Like, oh, I need to get out there, right? And so 7 days a week, just like she said, it's all about drilling yourself, right? When they go to the Army, they got boot camp before they even do anything, right? Give yourself a boot camp. Make yourself do, what is it, like prospecting, like Dr. Arlene said. If you're prospecting, then you got to prospect 7 days a week. Why, right? Why? It's the numbers, right? You only let up when you have already produced a pipeline. But when you don't have a pipeline, you got to go at it every day, right? When you don't have that muscle, you got to go at it every day until you build the muscle. So from Monday to Sunday, I would prospect every day. Every day I would send at least, now I knew that I'm beginning at this, so my chances are very unlikely to succeed, right? So I'm going to go with numbers. So I would do about 30 to 40 exposures every day. 30 to 40 every single day. Every single day. And I had my team members do it as well, right? Some of them, not all of them, because not everybody's able to prospect cold calls, right? Not everyone is able. Now there were a few that were like, yes, I can do it. So we would do 30, 40. I would do 30, 40 every day. They would probably do 5 or 10 or 20. It's all about your goals, right? So I did 30 to 40, and that was every single day without fail. Whatever time it was, and if it was like midnight or 11 o'clock, and I'm like, oh, I didn't do it today. I got to do it right now, right? And that happened for over a year and a half. And so every single time when I didn't get to my exposures or I would skip the day, I was like, oh man, I didn't expose anyone yesterday. That's when it becomes a habit, right? You're making it into a habit now. So now when you make it into a habit, now you can't do anything until you get it done. So it started to be where at first it was just sporadic whenever I had the time. And then it got to be like, well, let me get this done before I get anything else done because I can't stand it when I don't have my exposures, right? So you're going to grow into that habit, but you have to make it a habit and you have to be disciplined in that habit, like she said, until it becomes that habit, right? And now I get to lower my numbers because it's been 3 years of pipe building down the line. So now I don't have to go as hard as I did. I can now lighten up the load and just do 10, 15, 20 and still build that pipeline, right? So that's where you have to go hard at first. Then it's going to get easier, right? Just like working out, right? Pretty much soon, like people bench at 100 and next thing you know, they're benching 300. I bet you when they were starting at 100, they never thought 300 was even achievable at that moment, right? So that's where it begins. But the reps, the drill, that's where it's going to make you or break you. So thank you for sharing that, Dr. Aline, because that is a huge achievement for anyone to do any goals, period. Right. All right, Miss Leslie Johnson, we're next. You're up next.
Good morning, Angel, and thank you for amazing host. I'm just happy to be on this platform. I'm happy for Mr. and Mrs. B and all they have done to pour into us and still continue to push us to greatness. But I would like to reflect on the media mindset call. You and Jeremy did that role play. Excellent. So thank you for that role play with Jeremy on Monday night. My takeaway reflection was on yesterday. That was Brandon. And when he said, awareness is the beginning of change. And I began to really, reflect upon myself. Yes, awareness is the beginning of change. And in order to change, we have to realize that there's a change. And I wanted to go back to when Mr. Bean said, he gives 8 hours. Anyway, reverse engineer. He said, start 2024 from the end up. I said, wow, I'm going to do that. But anyway, I know I'm going to do, but I just got to focus and write down, continue to write down those goals, that list, how I'm going to start 2024 from the end up. And like I said, always begin with the end in mind. So again, that's awareness that I am continue to work on and to build upon. So I just want to be very brief on that part. Awareness to change, it starts with me. So thank you for allowing me to share.
Thank you, Ms. Leslie Johnson. And yes, thank you so much for that. Jeremy was very easy on me. I was gonna push me a little bit hard. I was prepared, but he went easy on me. So I was, as a green and nervous, I was grateful for that. But I was prepared for the objections, but he didn't bring any, so I lucked out on that call. And what you just shared, like you said, it's brief, but powerful, right? The reverse engineering and being aware, because if we're not aware of anything, we cannot if you're not aware of the challenge or the issue that you need to fix, then it's not going to be fixed, right? There's a lot of people that walk around. If you're not aware of, for instance, I'm going to use like alcoholics, right? If they're not aware they have a problem, then they most likely will not do anything about it, right? And so the first step in anything, is awareness. And that is the very first step, because without awareness, it's never going to be solved, right? If you're not aware of the problem, the challenge, then you can't solve it. So, and it's hard to be aware inside ourselves, right? That is the number one thing. So we have to sit down and do a reflection and inventory, if you would say, right? Of the things that we are aware of to change, right? And if you have that mentor, it'd be great to have that conversation with them as well, because they may be aware of something that you're not aware of. As a green, I always pride myself on being, very good with information and sharing information, but I didn't realize that the way that I share it was not clarifying enough, right? I shared it and spoke like the other person knew what I was talking about, instead of outlining it for like a person who had no idea what I was talking about. And so I had to learn to say things in a different way so that there are no misunderstandings. And that took, right? And that takes time, and you have to be aware. I wasn't even aware. Sometimes you go and like, why doesn't anybody get me? Like, I thought I explained it pretty well. But then if you reflect, what was it that was missing that they didn't connect with? What was it that I had to clarify? How do I have to change my verbiage? Right? And whatever it is that you want to change, if you want to prospect, then how do I go about doing that? Or if you are thinking about, I get so many objections, how do I go about getting objections, right? And that's what I worked on in the GCU the most, was objections. I was like, the reason why I was like the queen of objections is because I delved into objections every single day. I was like, I gotta get these objections done. I gotta learn these objections by heart, like Spitfire, right? And so I would just like, come give me objections. Like when they came with objections, I was like, yes, I get to practice more objections. Like, yeah, give it to me. And at the end, when I first got my first person with like no objections, I was like, on a scale of 1 to 10, what are you? She's like, I'm a 10. I'm ready to get started. And I was like, great. When are you getting started? And she's like, now. I was like, what? I'm ready for this. Is a cold call, a person that don't know me. She hopped on the call with me. I just shared the presentation and she's ready to get started now. I was like, what do I do? What do I do? I'm just so used to getting the objections, right? Like, I'm like, yeah, I know you need more information. Yeah, I know I got to do this. I got to do this. Person was like, let's go get started now. How do we go? What do I do? You need to send me a referral link? And I'm just sitting there like, okay, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to sign this person up, right? Because I'm just so used to it. So that's the great thing, is that you can work and drill to the point where it's going to happen. But it's the end game, like she said, right? So you reverse engineering, every single time that you have a goal, you want to reverse engineer. Every time that we go onto a platform, I'm always reverse engineering the platform. Like if it's Al Green, okay, how much do I want to make in Al Green by the end of the year? What is the number that you want? Do you want 𝐻𝐿 to be $10,000? Do you want 𝐻𝐿 to be $100,000? Okay, great. Let's work the math back. How do I make 100,000 commission off of 𝐻𝐿 that's paying? You know, I never do the binary, right? I do what's the direct, right? Because that you know for sure, right? So if it's a binary, I always do what's the direct commissions. Because it'd be great if I made more than the minimum that I set, right? So let's say, right, 𝐻𝐿 does 10%. So how much revenue do I need to bring in with a 10% commission for 100,000? Then I break that down, right, to the amount, right? So the amount of that, right? So how much revenue do I have to bring in? How many packages, how much do I have to bring in to make that 100,000 this year? Great. Now I reverse that to say, okay, let's bring an average pack. Most people will come in at $1,000. Or you can use the 2,500, or you can use the 5,000 package. And then I divide that number by that. And I say, okay, this is the amount of people that I need coming in to make that 100,000 happen. This is reverse engineering. You're reverse engineering how much you want your goal, right? So after that, now you know the amount of people that you need at $1,000. I actually do 1,000, 2,500, or 5,000. I need 3 things, right? Because 3 different tiers of people. Just for me to look at for numbers, because I'm a numbers person. But you can just keep one, right? 1,000. If you only signed up everybody at 1,000, how many people do you need to sign up? Now you have to reverse engineer. Okay, you need so and so. Let's say you need 100 people, or you need 500 people. Let's just say to make that 100,000. Let's just say 1,000, right? To make that 100,000. 1,000 people. There's 52 weeks in the year. So how many people out of that, divide that 1,000 people that you need to make the 100,000 by 52 weeks. That means you're going to need that many people per week coming into your organization in order to make it. So now that you have the goal per week, right? Now you can say, okay, so if I need 10 people coming in every week, I'm just using a number. I don't know what it is, right? 10 people coming in every week. Now you need to know how many people you need to talk to. I do a 90-10 rule. That's me, right? Or an 80-20. So out of 100 people, 10 will get started, is what I say. Right? So if you need 10 a week and you have a 90-10 rule, then you can do the math for that and see how many people you need to talk to. And if you're 9, you have more, then you have more. But now you have a set number. So even the coaches on the call, they do 300 calls a day. 300 calls a day. So you know that they have reverse engineer to see that 300 is a magic number to make the type of money that they want to make. And so now you're going into each and every single day or week with a number in mind. And when you have that clarity of a number, it doesn't have to be perfect. But if you have that number that you're striving for, you're going to get to your goal faster versus saying, and that's why reverse engineering is the best goal setting for you. You may or may not make it, or you may even surpass it. But by you having that there, you're able to walk yourself through and know, okay, I'm running behind. I got to step it up because I was supposed to have 10 this week and I didn't have 10. right? So I have to step it up. Now you know how to mark yourself. So reverse engineering is how you reach these goals. Because if you don't do it, you won't have a timeline and outline for yourself to really go do what you're doing. All right. We got a lot of messages in here. Great morning, Mr. Bean. Oh, is he in here? I didn't even see him. Aw. So he is over here in our message in our chat, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it to everyone in case, because this is in our chat and in for Facebook as well. Mr. Bean says, great morning, everyone. We are over here working on an alternate project, and I am torn because I am trying to listen in at the same time. You all make it hard for me to concentrate. Aw. Mr. Bean, can't wait to go back and listen. So for everyone. And then he says, thanks, Angel, for stepping on the gap, and to everyone else that understood the assignment and brought diversity to the call. Straight value. Yes. Yes, you all did so well. And so let's go ahead and wrap the morning up with Kendrick. And we're going to start our role plays after that.
All right. Great Saturday, everybody. I'm happy to be here on Crash Camp. Just wanted to use this time to be able to express my gratitude. Happy for everybody that was able to share and express their nuggets. I got some great notes from everybody's nuggets. Just gives you a time to be able to do a lot of self-reflection for me, myself. This week, my notes came from the rally calls. So the first note that I had was on Monday's rally call, and it was with Brick Brother Dave, and he was discussing with Peter, and he was talking to Peter. They were doing a role play, and it was a good role play, and he was giving feedback. And I really like the rally calls and everything, just like this call, because you get feedback and it's direct, and you get it right there on the spot. So he was telling him about it, and he was like, you get what you believe, and he was reflecting on that, and he was saying Peter actually agreed with him, because he was saying that he was a business person, and when he was talking to his clients, he could understand where they were coming from. And by doing that, he brought his, what I'm going to use the terminology, kind of stinking thinking along with it. He brought his own interpretation of what was going on in his mind, and it kind of allowed it to come out over the call and reflect on the other end. So that part right there, it just made me really reflect on my own self and my own, at times thinking that I could let, seep in. And it just makes me focus on just being positive and being energetic, and just being just aware of that at all times, and just not letting my own interpretation of things, come across over the phone, especially. And then the second thing, my reflection was from the rally call with Brandon. And I like when he gave the 8 steps for having a great attitude on the phone. When it comes to the phone, it's one of those things that I really try to tune in when people talk about stuff on the phone, because it's one of those things that I tend to shy away from. So the 8 steps, I'll just go through each one. The first one is said, believe you can sell anyone. And I think that's just real key. You have to be able to first believe in your product, just like Ms. Laura was saying, why my product, why me, and different things. But you have to first have that belief. And that was a real key takeaway that I reflected on this week, was my belief in myself, building my confidence, using this call and the rally calls to do just that. And then belief in just, others. Because for myself, I tend to take things on and then not use my team as much as I should. And I've learned to be able to use more of the 3-way, for example, to take some of the pressure off. So the second one was also belief. It was belief your product is worth 10 times the amount. And even with that statement, I think it just hit home. that goes, if you believe your product's worth 10 times the amount, then being able to get the customer to just purchase and then see where you're coming from, it makes it that much easier, because you're already this much higher with your belief, and you're really required for it to be down there. So that hit home with me. And then it again is one of those funny things. He said, be willing to call someone. He said, Grant says, be willing to call someone back until they buy or die. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I had fun with that one. It just shows commitment overall. It just shows the level of commitment that you need to have when doing this, and especially on the phone. The next one was know your pitch cold. That's why we're here, to be able to perfect that, and I take this time, and I appreciate this time with the role plays and everything. The next one was you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. That's again on the line of belief, just knowing what we have, having that value, being able to share that value with the person on the other end of the phone, and having that come through. And then believe you are the lowest price and the best value. And the key thing to this one was, he said, even when you're not. And I thought that was real key, because, it hits again along with knowing your product, believing in yourself, knowing yourself, and I know it's kind of thing like psyching yourself out, but it's like one of the best ways you can psych yourself out, believing that much more in yourself and the product. And just another one was treat everyone with respect. That one's pretty self-explanatory. And never depend on one call. So it's just like, it goes back to call until the sale is made, pretty much. So those are my overall reflections and stuff from rally calls. And my focus for this week was just belief. That was the overall thing, believing in myself more, participating more to build my belief, and just continuing to build from there. So thank you for letting me share.
All right. Thank you for sharing and ending it on belief, right? That is another powerful thing. And I love listening to how you shared that, Kendrick, because I've seen your growth, right? I've been here with watching you grow as well from the very first time you role played and all of that. And to see your growth, right, Kendrick, is right here. If anyone listened to him, you can see how he grew, because what he just shared, he shared the list of 8. And then not only did he share the list of 8, but then he interpreted the list of 8 into what he saw, which was belief in all of them, right? And to be honest, I was waiting to do that, and you did it for me. You interpreted it for me. And then not only did you do that, but then you incorporated into what you are doing. And that is growth, ladies and gentlemen. That is growth, right? You take the information, you decipher the information, interpret it, and then you go and you apply it into your life and what you need to do. And that is growth. So number one, thank you for being the product of this GCU system, Kendrick. By you just sharing that all in one, I have seen your growth in how you just presented that. And super proud. I'm sure your senior business partners are proud mama bears, daddy bears now watching that, because you just did everything that I could have shared, and that's where you want to be. You want to be learning from the system to where you can host one day as well, right? And so you said it, you knocked it out. Belief. That without belief, you cannot do anything without belief. If you don't believe in yourself, you don't believe in the product. And this is the one thing that that for those who are in these rally calls, right? When you do objections and people are giving you that, yeah, I'm not ready, I don't know. What is The number one question you ask, okay, Kendrick, do you not believe in the company? Do you not believe in the product? Or do you not believe in me? So if you're asking your clients that, you have to first ask yourself that. Do I believe in the company? Do I believe in the products? Do I believe in myself? And once you ask those questions to yourself, now you can ask those of others, right? That same questions to others. And that's the main thing. If you don't believe, if you're not getting your the outcome that you want, then that means that you have to up your belief. And majority of the time, it's the belief in yourself. Right? I'm not where I want to be because I don't believe in myself enough to be there. I'm not in the leadership group because I don't believe that I'm good enough myself to be in the leadership group. The people who are in the leadership group is not because they're better. It's because they said, I know I can be a leader and I'm going to do what it takes to get there. That's the belief. Are we going to scramble and mess up and do all kinds of stuff on the way there and still do? Yes. But with the belief that we are going to be in a leader is what takes us there. So you got to believe that you're going to, when you go into these calls, like think about it, boxers, like sports athletes, what do they do before every single game? Like you said, Kendrick, they psych themselves out. Right? Like you go into these things and you go into these cold calls and you're like, you have to have so much belief. Like, number one, I'm making a sale or I'm making a friend. I'm making a sale or I'm making a friend. Right? And so you have to psych yourself out, right? What is Muhammad Ali say? Fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee every single time. He's psyching himself out every single time he's about to have a fight. So if you have that, your own cheerleading section, hey, I'm going to make a sale or make a friend. Well, think about one person every day that you hop on a Zoom one day for 365 days, you're either making a sale or making a friend. And if you have 365 friends coming in, sooner or later, you're going to make some sales. Right? Maybe the first year is only 365 friends. That's okay. But next year, you'll have 600 or over 800. And 365 have known you well enough to say, okay, this person isn't bad. I can maybe trust them now after 365 days later, right? They've done what they've said, they've followed up, they've committed. So now I can commit to them. Right? So perfect ending to that. So let's get into the role play, the meat and potatoes. Man, you guys brought it this week. Love it, love it. Oh, wow. Let's go. Who is ready to knock it out? Role play today. All right, Miss Carla Wynn.
Great morning. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I would like to role play this morning with Miss Marva.
All right, Miss Marva. Okay, what are we role playing?
I'm back.
We're role playing what we've been practicing this week. The
Yes, we
PS5
have.
script.
PS5. Okay.
Okay. Ring ring.
Hello.
Hey Marva, this is Carla. Good morning.
Oh, hi, Carla. How you been?
I'm great. Hey Marva, I know that we haven't spoken in a while and we need to catch up. We will definitely catch up at another time. So
Okay.
the reason for my call this morning is that I want to share some information about a project that I'm involved with. I need about 3 minutes of your time. Are you good with that?
Yeah, what are you doing now? You always doing something.
That's right, girl. Zip. Hey, I just sent you something. Take a look at your phone.
What's that?
This is a
Money.
screenshot. Yes, this is a
Okay.
screenshot of my earnings with my most recent project. You, in fact, can earn up to 1% daily, 6 days a week, 26 days a month.
Say what?
Hey, Marva, do you have anything currently like that working for you?
No, not even a CD, a 401, nothing. Everything is tanking right now.
Yeah, girl, I understand. Most people say that. So, if you were able to add 1% daily to your income, what would you do with that?
I'd be so much more ahead of the game on the retirement. Yeah,
Okay.
that would help.
Okay, so ahead of the game on the retirement, what else?
I want to put some things away for my grandkids for college, some money to get them started.
Grandchildren, retirement, what else?
That's it. The last thing would be to work on some things I want to, you know, freshen up at the house. Yeah.
Home improvement. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Awesome. So, tell me a little bit more about the grandchildren and the home improvement. Do you have a dollar amount in mind?
Well, I want to put about, I don't know, $3,000 a year away for each grandchild till they, get to um
Okay.
time to go
And
to
about the
college.
awesome. And how old are the grandchildren?
Well, one, let's see, she's 11 and the other one's 16. So right now I'd be putting like 75% away of that amount
Mm-hmm.
for the one that's
Mm-hmm.
older. And
Mm-hmm.
then, once he gets there, I'll start putting more away for the little one.
Awesome. Great. And for the home improvement, and how soon did you want to get that done? Do you have a dollar amount for that?
I mean, it's nothing pressing, but if
Mm-hmm.
I could put like 500 a month into the home improvement.
Okay, great. Oh, wonderful. These are excellent reasons. These are some excellent reasons for what you want to do. So let's jump on a Zoom so I can show you more.
Okay. What do I have to do? Sorry.
Okay, so I'm sending you a
Okay, let
Zoom
me
link
see.
right now.
Oh, okay.
Did you get it?
I did.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna press this play. I'm gonna press play and show you something. Click on.
Okay.
Okay. So now we have watched the Zoom presentation.
Mm-hmm.
So Marva, what did you like best about what you saw today?
Man, it seems like a sure thing. I think this could work for me. I'll give it a shot.
Okay, great. So wonderful, wonderful that you will give it a shot. Now, do you have an amount that you would like to give it a shot with to start to get to some of your goals?
So you're saying 1% of a day, that's based on what I start with, right?
That is exactly based on what you start with. So pulling up the chart here, let me pull up this math chart so that you can see exactly what we're talking about.
Okay.
So you say you want to contribute. So if you were to start with, let's say, $5,000, right?
Oh,
At a rate
okay.
of $50 per day or $300 per week in 26 months. Let me see. In
26 days.
26 days, that'll be $1,300 a month. Over the course of a year, it looks like you could generate about $15,000. So that will
Oh,
kind of
wow.
help you with putting together the $3,000 for each grandchild and also working on some of your home improvements. Is that something that you're able to do right now? Do you have $10,000?
No.
Okay, great.
How
So,
can
so
I
we're
start smaller, and then is there some other way that I can, get more a day than that? If, like, say I can only start with $1,000, that's going to put me at, about 7,500 or 7,900 in a year.
actually it'll put you at a little bit less, but you can definitely get started with that. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to what times do you have available today? Are you available right now? Would love to introduce you to my senior business partner who I reunited with her more than 4 years ago. And I say reunited because she and I have known each other from back in the day in New York. Her mother and my mom used to hang out together. She's been a nurse for for over 40 years of her life. And she's also been in this, in this opportunities of, learning and growing about, additional income. And she's just definitely the type of person that I think would, be able to answer any and all of your additional questions. Do you have a few more moments right now for us to jump on a call with her, or do you have 2 times later on today in which we can schedule some time to meet with her?
Well, I have to take my mom someplace at 11:30.
Okay.
Maybe around 3.
Okay, let me double check and confirm with her that she's available at 3. And if 3 doesn't work, what other time is available for you?
Maybe 2 hours later, because after that I have to work tonight, and so I have to get some sleep. So probably about either 3 o'clock or 5.
Okay, great. Well, I'll reach out to her and I'll get back to you to confirm the exact time that we're going to get together with Mrs. Johnson. You would love her. She's awesome. And she'll be able to answer any additional questions that are bigger than me for me to answer at this time.
Okay, great. Sounds good.
Okay, thank you so much, Marva. And is there any reason besides this, because you're in Annapolis and I know it's flooding over there. Is there any reason besides any weather conditions that you will not be on the call once we arrange it?
Not that I can think of, unless what I have to do with mom runs a little bit over, and then I'll call you and say maybe at 5. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so we'll shoot for both times. And in addition to that, why are you giving me the time today, Marva?
Well, Carla, we've known each other for a long time, and I kind of respect your judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And I've talked to you, in your profession, and you've never steered me wrong yet. So I think I feel honored that you would come to me with something that can help me along financially, and I really appreciate that. So I'm gonna give it a try because I need to step my game up on saving for these kids in my retirement.
Awesome. Those are some very sound reasons. I look forward to confirming whether 3 or 5 o'clock is the best time once I get in touch with Mrs. Johnson. Okay?
Okay. Sounds great.
All right. All right.
All
Thank
right.
you so much. And we'll catch up with each other later on this afternoon regarding the project that we talked about today.
Sounds great. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
All
Bye-bye for now.
right. All right. Give a round of applause. First one up, and boy, did she hit a home run, right? Wow. So congratulations on that role play, ladies. Great job, great job. I loved it, and we can tell, I mean, for those of us who are in this program, we can tell that you have been practicing, you have been running those jobs now for a person that's out there that for the first time hearing you, they have no idea, right? And it sound perfection, right? For them, right? They're like, ooh, right? Because see, what we don't know is that people put hours of going over scripts before they do anything, right? Before they get on stage, before they do things, right? And you don't know the preparation that people do in order to knock out some of these events and stuff, right? Or even a call. And so we see how you put it. I love how you came in there straight from PS5. You did everything great coming into getting her onto that Zoom, right? So that she can take a look at that. You kept it very minimal. I love that you know, you did the perfect intro into it, telling her the reason for your call, getting into also the asking her the question, right, of qualifying her, like qualifying questions of, you know, what do you need to be done in the next, what are your goals, your financial goals, what, you know, what are you going to do with that 1% in the next couple years, right? And she said retirement. You didn't stop there. You let her give you 2-3 examples. You stayed in that fact finding questions, and which is perfect, right? And I love that. And then so you now got the what she wants to accomplish. So now you have the solution for that, right? And I love that you wrote it down, right? Not only did you say you ask her, but you took the time to write it down as well, right? And then not only that, then we went into the presentations, and afterwards, right? When you got off the presentation, you didn't really, you know, you took it away from yourself by doing the 3-way call. Excellent, right? And you took it so that you can now have an expert answer her questions instead of, you know, deep diving and, you know, and trying to answer her questions. Instead, I want to give you accurate information, right? So I want to go ahead and set up a Zoom, right, with the person. And you did that. Perfect. So the outline is perfect, right? The outline, right? You got the mechanics down. So there's just a couple of things, of course, right? We need to get better. We all need to fine tune, right? Just a little bit oil in there, right? A little bit oil. So for the beginning, and I understand that this happens to me too. So we got to have the 2-second rule, because sometimes you're over talking her, or she responds and you're already into your next part, right? So what you want to do is, once you say what you have to say and you know that there's a pause or a time, give them a time to respond, because this is a conversation, right? So give them that 2-second rule to respond, right? 2 seconds. And then you go into the next part. Because a lot of times we're trying to get to the next part, and then and they're like trying to talk in between because we didn't give them that response time. Right? So you want to have a conversation. So whatever it is, break it into pieces where you're going to allow them to speak, and then go. Right? And that's just one of the things, because I saw like 2 or 3 times, like she's about to say something, but you're like on the next part already. And then you have to stop. And then she says what she says, right? So give that 2-second rule. I love that you wrote it down, because that also gives you that pause, right? And sometimes if you need a pause and you lose your place, like, hey, I'm writing this down, so give me a second, and then you can gather yourself. So when you do that, that's perfect. And that way you don't have to remember everything she says too, right? So that's a good thing. Writing down is an excellent way. And that also gives your client that feel like, oh, this is important to her because she's writing down what I'm saying, right? Like, I feel important, right? And then you went into asking for the Zoom, right? And then after the Zoom, when you asked her, you know, what you liked the most, and you went, you know, perfect layout on that, what I would say is, don't ask for time, right? That's one of my things that I don't ask for time unless they say they don't have time. So I would just lead like they have time. Right? It's just kind of like you're going to get the sale because you believe in the sale. You just believe that they have time for you. Right? Oh, right. So just believe that, oh, she has time right now. Hey, I don't know if I can get a hold of her, but I would love to get my senior business partner on the line so that she can give you accurate information
Okay.
and answer all the questions you have. Right?
Yep.
So you're giving your value to your senior business partner because they have accurate information. And not only that, but they may or may not have time for you, but I'm going to ask them on my behalf if they can spare some time for you. You see the value there when you share it that way? And then if she says, oh no, I don't have time right now, right? There's the time objection. But you don't want to ask for it. I don't ask for it. I just assume they have time right now, unless you tell me otherwise. Right? You want to assume that you're going to do everything right now. Assume it first. And then if they said no, then like, okay, great, no problem. Right? So you're saying that you don't have time right now. So is later today or another day? Always have two options. But it's always urgency, right? If you're in a sense of urgency, they're gonna be in a sense of urgency. So, oh yeah, no worries. Okay, great. So later this evening, later today, or are we talking tomorrow? Right? And then she's gonna choose. When people give two options, they always choose. If you ask them a general question, they're gonna think about it. So you always want to give options. Like, and two only, not too many. Right? So two at a time. So it's so you're gonna either do it today or tomorrow. Yeah. And then and that's great. Leading into call, going into the three-way. I know you're working more on that, right? And it's gonna be smooth. It's like just like the beginning. The beginning is super smooth. Knocked it out. All right, who's next? All right, Miss Gwendolyn Weber.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
I just want to do the invite with
Okay.
anyone who want to go with me. I almost took my hand down after Carla because I just almost took my hand down. But I just want to do the invite. Thank you, Miss Carla, but I just want to do the invite.
Okay.
Or whoever want to go with me.
Who do we have to go? I saw Dr. Arlene, so I picked on you because your beautiful face was in front of me.
No problem.
All right, Miss Glenn, we got Dr. Arlene for you. And
Okay.
don't worry about it. This is a safe space. And that's exactly, you want to go after her because why? Because you've got a great resource that just went right in front of you. So now you know how to do it, right? So don't be shy. This is everybody has to get good before they get great, right? So
I just need the butterflies out my stomach. I'm not shy, just the butterflies keep coming up. But anyway, all right, Dr. Arlene, thank you so much for doing this with me. All right. Can I call you Miss Arlene right now?
You can call
All
me.
right.
Yes.
Ring, ring.
Good morning.
Hello, Miss Arlene. This is Gwen. Good morning.
Good morning, Gwen.
Good morning. I know we haven't spoken in a while, and we'll take time to catch up later. The reason for my call today is I want to share some information with you about a project that I'm involved with. You have about 3 minutes?
Sure.
Miss Arlene, I just sent you something. Take a look at your phone.
What's that, Gwen?
Look, Miss Arlene, this is a screenshot of my most recent earning, my most recent project. You can earn up to 1% daily, 6 days a week, 26 days a month. Miss Arlene, do you have anything like that working for you right now?
Did you say 1% a day?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, 1% a day.
Too good to be true.
I know we all think that. Lots of people think the same thing. Okay, I'm lost.
It's okay.
So do
Take your
you
time.
have anything working for you like that right now?
No, absolutely
Okay.
not.
All right. You know, that's what
Is
most
it
people
legal?
say. Definitely. It is legal, Miss Ardeen. Look, so all right. I'm lost. Y'all got help.
No
You got
worries.
this.
You got it.
So if you were able to add 1% to your income, what would you do with it right now?
Oh, wow. Let's see, my three kids just finished college, and my goal was to have them finish college debt free. So I'd pay off some debts that I accumulated.
Okay, pay off some bills, college funds for the kids. What else would you do?
I would probably start like an IRA or something else.
Okay,
Retirement.
your retirement. Okay, Miss Arlene, is there anything else?
And then I'd start traveling.
Awesome. That part right there, right? Those are some very great reasons, Miss Arlene. Let's jump on the Zoom so I can show you more.
I don't have time right now, Gwen.
You know what? I understand that. I totally understand. I tell you what, when can I get about 10 minutes of your time, maybe later today or first thing in the morning, so I can show you some more.
Can you send me some information?
Sure, I can send it to you, but when can we get on a Zoom and watch it together so you would understand more?
You said this evening or tomorrow morning?
Yeah, later today, but maybe around 3 or 4 o'clock. What's a good time for you today?
Probably about 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock today. Very good. Okay. All right. Okay, Miss Arlene, at 4 o'clock today, we'll set a time. Is there anyone besides yourself that needs to be involved in this today?
No.
No. Is there anyone else whose opinion you value you might want them to join with you?
I think God will be there.
Oh, all right. I understand. He's there with us all, right? All right, look, today at 4, my intention is to show you the information you need to make an informed decision and to get all your questions answered. So all right, is there any reason besides the rapture that you will not take my appointment at 4 o'clock today?
No, ma'am.
All right, okay. All right. Look, I'm sending you an invite right now in your in your text. I'm sending you an invite to remind you and you can accept that.
Okay, I'm
And
seeing
my last question, and so you can get back to your day. Why are you giving me this time today at 4 o'clock, Miss Arlene?
Well, you said 1% a day. At 1% a day, I'm not getting that anywhere else. And it can really help me to be able to travel the world like I want to.
Awesome. And I know you can look forward to getting that information with me on today, and hope we can get all of your dreams and get your kids' college funds done, pay off some bills. So I look forward to that call with you today at 4 o'clock. We'll talk then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done, ladies. Wow. Look at you, Miss Gwendolyn. Oh, you weren't gonna settle for second place. See, you brought the heat, right? So great coming in. And that's a great thing about this and having the script in front of you, because that person who just, we know you have a script, but your prospect doesn't know that you have a script at all. And if you were to close your eyes and just listen to they would not know that you were reading the script, right? And that's what that's what you can read the script without letting someone know you read the script, right? That's the magic, right, of having a script, is where you start to learn how to read a script without letting the other person know you're reading the script. And that's how you do it. Just putting the pauses, the taking the time on announcing the scripts, right? Because actors, what do? They all have scripts, right? Actors and actresses all have scripts, and they learn to read a script like they're not reading a script. And that's what you can learn here, is to read scripts, but not show that you're reading a script. And that's how you did it. Of course, as you master it, it's going to be better, right? But you did a fantastic job getting into the call. And yeah, there's going to be times where you're going to get hit with challenges, which you did, but you kept going anyways, right? So you're going to get challenges even when you're an expert on a call, but you just keep going. And that's exactly what you did. You just kept going. You found your place, you lost your place, and you found your place. And that's it. That's all you can do, right? That's the best you can do. And it's going to happen regardless. So, starting off with, you did everything. I love the way that, of course, that asking that 1% is always a great thing for you to do, right? Because now you know what she has, her income or her goals are for that 1%, so that now you can move it to the Zoom, right? And she hit you with that, I don't have time right now, right? So now, and this is called thinking on your feet, right? So got to give you that. You thought on your feet, and you did exactly what I just shared to do earlier. Give her 2 options, right? So you applied what I just shared earlier, which is kudos to you. You applied it right away, gave her 2 options, later today or tomorrow morning. And she took it, right? She gave you that time. And then not only did you book the appointment time, but you made sure that she showed up, right? And by asking besides, and this is what I love, that you asked her if there's anybody else, to make you went the extra mile and ask if there was anybody else that was going to be the decision maker besides her, right? And she said God, right? Is the only decision maker in her life, right? And so besides her, and then you turned it around. This is quick thinking on your feet, ladies and gentlemen, right? Where you said, well, besides the rapture, is there anything else, right, that's going to keep you from it, right? Those are the connecting things, Miss Gwen, right? It's not about all of the other information. It's the connection that you made just by going with the flow with her, is what makes this call a winning call, right? It's not about the mechanics. It's about you connecting here. And she said, no, right there. She connected. That's what you want. And then not only that, but you made sure she showed up by asking her, why are you giving me this time? Right? And that's just solidifying that she's not only going to book this appointment, but that she's going to show up. So I don't know how much better you want to be, but that was pretty good, lady. Gotta give it to you, right? So and it's just gonna be smoother. That's it. But when you want to be able to connect everything, you connected the dots. It's just not as smooth as you like. And this is where I said, like, sometimes we gotta forgive ourselves and just do it to where it just flows naturally. That's it. That's the only thing. You did the best that you could, right? And that's striving for excellence, right? And that's it. So everything is good. Just of course the little oils here, is like on certain like transitions, and that into different you work onto the transitions of when you're going into different places, right? Once you learn the script, then you're just going to add like little transitions in there. And But that's once you get down the script. But as far as the script is going, I'm not going to bog you down with transitions. That will be for a later date as you get the scripts down more. Because I love what you're doing. Once you perfect that, I believe that's pretty much gold. She did give you a couple of objections in there, right? And I love how you flowed with it. You know, like I get it. Your acknowledgement is great on her objections, her time objection and her too good to be true objections. So there's a little bit of objections there. And that's what I want to work on today as well. One of the role plays, we want to get into like an objection role play. Like everyone is doing really good with the PS5, which is fantastic, right? Everybody's down with the PS5. And so we want to make it a little bit harder. And so let's go ahead and let's try something with some objections. Anybody up for that? How about we do Miss Laura Johnson? And let's see, who do we have who would like to go with her for being her prospect and giving a little bit of okay, Miss
Oh,
Marva? Okay, gonna give her some
awesome.
objections, right?
So anyway, thank you so much for going with me, Marva. So hey, listen, I do the PS5 all the time. However, I don't always run into objections. So this is going to be great practice for me. So
Okay. Am I gonna object?
oh yeah, you could
Yes.
you could throw objections at me. Yeah, you could.
Why
That's what I want
don't
you to
we
do.
start at the end of the presentation, right? Because I know everybody's got the intro down. So why don't we
Okay,
start at like you just saw the presentation and then we'll go from there, Miss
at
Marva.
the follow-up, right? Mm-hmm.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay. So we've just completed the presentation. We're on Zoom together. So Marva, listen, what did you like best about what you saw?
Well, I really like, earning the money, 1% a day is a lot. And I mean, but I don't know. I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Like, is that even legal? There's no place else that I've heard of that's doing this. Or what are we betting or what is this? The old numbers running days, What is it?
I totally get it. I totally get it. That's a great question too. Is there anything else that troubles you besides thinking that it might be betting or gambling or something like that?
Um, like how am I gonna get my money back and how do I get it into this and what happens next? Where do we
Mm-hmm.
put the money?
Okay. Good questions. How do you get your money back? I'm writing this down, Marva, because I want to make sure that I get all your questions answered. Um, all right, so just tell me more.
That's pretty much it. I'm just kind of skeptical of the whole ordeal because I've never heard of anything like this before. But I mean, that's not to say it's not real. I just am not truly um sure that it's a good place to put that kind of money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm scared to lose my money is what,
Mm-hmm.
it's a real problem.
I totally understand. Thanks for sharing that. What else?
Nothing. I don't have any other, I just need to know it's legal. I don't want the IRS coming for me.
I got it. I got it. I got it. You're right. I totally agree with you. I can see that because I sure don't want the IRS coming for me either. I feel the same way. So, do you have any other concerns?
No, I was just curious how long it's gonna, you know, take. It's like at what rate would I have to contribute to reach my goal of $6,000 for the year? I mean, it's
Oh,
January. I'm starting off, early, so I might be able to get there, but how does that look and what do I have to put in?
so how long it's going to take? for you to reach your goal of $6,000 a year. And you know, you're afraid of losing your money and you want to make sure you'll be able to get it back, and you're concerned about gambling. So far, those are the things that I hear you saying. Is there anything else that bothers you?
No, that's pretty much it. If you can, honey, if you can answer those, I'm on. It's on.
Okay. Okay. So out of these concerns, what's your real objection? So, you know, gambling, or how do you get your money back, or being afraid of losing your money, or how long it's going to take for you to earn that $6,000 a year? What's your real concern?
My real concern is the IRS. I worry more about them than the rest of it. The rest of it, you can get it again, but I want to make sure it's legal.
Okay. So when you say that, what do you mean?
How am I going to show it? Do I have to show it on my taxes? And, how does that look? Is there some kind of statement that I'm going to get from this at the end of the year?
Okay. Okay.
Because I've never
Now,
really done much with investments, so I'm not sure how that works.
right, right. So if I could show you how it's legal and how you'd be able to validate it and everything, um, would you be willing to move forward at that time?
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Okay. Okay. All right. Good. Um, I'm looking at my notes.
Go ahead.
So, okay, I'm sort of stuck right there, Miss Angel.
No worries. And that first of all, give a round of applause. First of all, I just made her do something very uncomfortable as a green, right? And just role play something that like she said in the beginning, like she's never had objections before. So for her to just get on here and to handle them is already courage, right? And that's what we applaud here is courage. And so everybody, that's how you keep going. Even if you don't know what it is, you still want to keep going and and learn how to, like you say, get comfortable in chaos, right? And so how I would and I love how Mava she shared, Marva shared all the stuff that she was getting, because when you are role playing, you want to share you see the clients or the prospects asking you want to ask them, because now you'll have the answer when your own clients or prospects ask you the same thing, right? So when you're role playing on the other end, it's also an assignment too, because now you have to be that person to really become a prospect. That's the only way that person will learn. If you actually do your role and become a real prospect and give them, hit them with the things that are going to happen in real life before they get into real life, right? Because not everybody's going to be nice. And so I love that you wrote it down. Okay, so the first thing, how I would handle objections, right? So how I handle objections is one at a time. So when you first asked her about her objection, her first one was gambling, the gambling objection, right? So that's number one. So because you don't want to, on objections, you don't want to have a list like on goals and financial things, you can have a list, but objections, you want to knock them out one at a time, right? So the first one is gambling. So when she says, I don't know, this is gambling, and great, I knew you would say that because I said the same thing, right? And you're not gambling. This is a sports trading contract that you're going to decide on, and you receive royalties from the sports contract, right? That's what Mr. Bean had shared earlier, right? Earlier on, a couple of weeks ago, right? That it's a sports contract and you're going to receive royalties based on 1% every day. And
Okay.
then, so you tackle the objection. So she said gambling, you gave your answer to that objection. You agree, acknowledge, and then the next is isolate. Okay, now that we've cleared that clear the air, the air on that. What other concerns do you have?
Mhm.
And then the second one, she says, well, I don't know if this is legal or not. Right? I want to make sure that it's legal. And I love that you did do the fact-finding questions to me, like, what do you mean by legal? What do you mean? And so she was just wanting to know, do I file taxes? I don't file taxes, right? So you got down to there. So now that we know it's about taxes, now you can share that with her, right? So this is a decentralized platform, right? And as with any investments that are international, right? Whatever you move into your bank is what you will have to report. Now, I am not a CPA, so I would suggest you ask your CPA about that. Don't go into it because you're not a CPA,
Mhm.
right? It's international business. What I do know is that you will have to report whatever you place in your bank, right? True. So please consult a CPA on that. But it is, as far as taxes go, right? But it is a legitimate international business, right? Outside of the US. Okay. Now that we've handled that, do you have any other concerns? Right? So we're tackling one at a time until she has 0 concerns. Now that I've addressed all your concerns, is there anything else keeping you from getting started today? Ask for the close, right? Because you've already handled all her objections. So, is there anything else keeping you from getting started today? Then she's gonna either say money or, whatever it is that she's going to say that's keeping her, since you've already addressed her concerns one by one. And it's the same thing, agree, right? Agree, acknowledge, and then isolate every single objection. And then go for the close. If she says, and make sure she says, well, I don't know, like, well, okay, here's another close, a second close on a scale of 1 to 10. Because sometimes people don't want to say things, but they're unsure. So you want to gauge, right? This is a temperature check. Well, okay, I get it. Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being that you need more information. So you're leading that person like into making a decision. Does she need more information? That's a 1. Or if she's ready to get started today, which is a 10. Like, right? And that kind of alleviates the pressure for them because they don't mind giving you a number, right? So she'll say like 5. So now you're seeing that she's a 50-50 chance. And so I love that for a close. I close all the time with that, right? Because I need to check my prospect's temperature, right? So let's say she said a 5. Now you know that what you're working with, 50-50 person. So they're like, great, I love a 5, right? And you love everything. You love a 1, you love a 2, you love a 3, you love a 4. You love everything, right? So you love a 5. And you can say you love a 5 because, why? Because a 5 is being transparent with you, right? So you can love on a 5 too. I love a 5. I love hearing a 5. I love hearing a 5 more than I love hearing a 9 or 10, because most 9s and 10s don't even get started right away sometimes, right?
Yes.
So I love a 5, because if I can get a 5 to a 10, that's it, it's done, right? But if they're a 9 and a 10, but they're indecisive, then, that's the thing. So I love a 5. So the next question after she says that, I love a 5. So what can we do to make it a 10? Now she's gonna tell you how to sell her. When you ask that question, how do we get you to a 10? Well, I need this, or I need that. I need more information. I mean, I've never invested before and I want to, great. You know what? We have an investment club. It's an elite club, but I'm gonna see if if we can get you into that club, right? So that you can look, kind of see for yourself what we've been able to do in the last 3 or 4 years with different investments, right? And then you can kind of, shop around before you get started. Right. So that's why you want to see, like, what does she need? What type, even information, what type of information are you looking for to make it a 10? Right. And then now you know what it is, the missing piece from that. So that one question on a scale of 1 to 10 is a closer. And I've used it and I've forgotten to use it a couple times and I never close. When I don't use it, I don't close.
Mhm.
So, and I'm like, oh, I forgot my question. So, even when you do something every day, you forget sometimes, rushing off the calls, things like that, So that is a very great closing question because you need to know what is it going to take to make her a 10. And it might not be that day, but you can work towards helping her get to that 10. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So great. So thank you for doing that because that is going to help a lot of people who have the objections, right?
Thank you so much for your coaching on that because I use the skeleton. We all told to, use the script. And so I had printed off the steps to determine valid or invalid objections. But your one huge nugget for me in your coaching is to handle the objections one at a time. Because what I did, I was going by, the ebook here, and it tells you, to stack them up. And so that's why I got lost because I had all these stacks of stuff and I just got lost. So for me, your biggest coaching nugget for me is handle them one at a time because I know how to do that. I know how to handle one and then go on, one and then go on. So that's the beauty of Crash Camp is that it puts it all together for us and it gives us an opportunity to solidify it. So that's what you did for me, Miss Angel, because I'm practicing this stuff, but sometimes I do it in pieces. And so, it doesn't all come together like a solid brick. And so yeah. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And that's just by going out there and getting hit with objections, right? And I'm like, oh, I gotta handle just handle one at a time. Number one, for you to keep that outline going, right? And making sure that you don't get confused yourself when you're doing the objections and just knock it out one at a time. Not only that, but that causes the connections with your people because wow, she's gonna make sure that I'm not leaving anything on the line, right? Like she's taking her time to deal with each and everything one at a time and making sure that, I'm feeling good, I'm fed. And that's what I say too, because what you can add that to the end. I said, I want you to make sure that this is a sound decision before you make a decision. So what do we need to do to get you to a 10? So that you can make that a sound decision for yourself, right? Everything is in your prospects' hands, right? On themselves. And so thank you for that role play. I know I threw you under, but I think that we do need that step, the next step on that. And so that is the great way to end it, ladies and gentlemen, with that expert. Mr. Bean always wants to end the call with an expert on doing that as well. So do you want to I see that Dr. Arlene, do you want to go over the PS5, any part of the PS5 with Miss Laura Johnson then, our two aces to knock out the call?
Sure. Actually, my question was, where do we find the ebooks? in the back office? Because I haven't been able to find that.
Ms. Laura Johnson, do you?
Yeah, it's under you just search handling objections and you'll find them there under the same when you search it, they're down in the lower left-hand corner, it'll say ebook. And you
And
can
the same shall be sold?
no. It's this is under handling objections. This is under handling. That's what I was looking at, in terms of handling objections. That's the whole, and it has a huge section, steps to determine valid or invalid. It goes through each step, and then it determine the type of objection, and then step 6, close or handle, and it's got a lot of information. So just search it, handling objections. When you first get in there, search it and you'll find it.
Yeah, I believe that each section has its own ebooks to go along with the, training. So
I've been missing that all along. Oh, thank you.
Hey, we're always learning something new in GCU, right? And they're always continuing to put more material. So it's great. I love it. Everything evolves, including our lessons, right? So we evolve, they evolve, and we all evolve together. So what would you like to work on, Dr. Arlene?
I would like to actually work on the PS5 and the follow-up. So they've already watched the video, and now we're doing they've watched the video on their own, and we're doing a follow-up Zoom call.
All right. You got that, Dr.?
Yeah, any objections? Any objections or?
Yeah, put the objections forward. So we're on Zoom now. Ready. So Laura, thank you for joining me on the Zoom. Tell me, did you have time to watch the video?
Yes, I did, actually.
Excellent, excellent. What did you like best about what you saw?
Well, I like the fact that you can earn 1% a day, but I'm concerned because, I don't gamble and I don't want to be gambling.
I agree with you. I am not a gambler either. And that's what I like about 𝐍𝐎 is the fact that you're not gambling, you're actually purchasing a sports contract, and then you earn 1% a day on the sports contract itself. That's why if you in the video, you'll realize he referenced sports trading, not sports gambling. So you're actually purchasing a sports contract and you're earning royalties back on that sports contract.
Okay. I understand.
Any other concerns?
Well, is this legal? Is it, legal? Because I know it's like international and I don't want to deal with any international scams or anything.
Laura, I'll tell you the standard I tell my kids all the time when they tell me about things that they want to do. I said, is it legal? Is it moral? And is it ethical? Those are the 3 questions I ask them. So absolutely.
I like that.
It is legal. It is definitely legal. So what else? Tell me about what else? What are your other concerns?
So I would like to earn perhaps, like $1,000 a month, maybe. How do I do that?
Excellent question. A lot of people ask that question, Laura. And I'll tell you right now, when you watch the video, he talked about different ways that you can actually earn with the 𝐍𝐎 system. The first way is your sports contract at 1% a day, right? And then the second way is actually building a team. And as you build a team, you earn 10% on your whatever they originally invest, let me correct that, smack myself there, I failed myself. Whatever you originally purchased, the original contract purchase, you earn 10% on that. And then there's also the system called the binary system. And when you utilize the binary system, you get 8% of the smaller side. So that those are the different ways that you earn. And then we can sit down and we can look at for $1,000 a month, right? Let's say, for example, someone invests $10,000. Well, 10% of $10,000 is that 1,000. Or someone
I see.
buys a contract. Let me smack myself again because I used the word investment again. 10%
Practice.
of 10,000 is 1,000. Therefore, in that month, because of that contract, you've earned 10,000. That's only one way that I just showed you. And there are 3 ways that you can do it. Either 1, with your own 1% a day. 2, the 10% for introducing individuals who get a contract. And then 3, that 8% from the binary system. Those are the 3 different ways that we can use to get you to $1,000 a month.
Okay. Well, I really don't want to mess with other people's money. So, I want to focus on what I'm doing so that I know that I'm responsible for me and not anybody else. So is there a way for me to, well, you said there is a way, so you'll be able to show me that?
Yes, 1%. You're 1%, right? So let me ask you this. Do you have $100,000 right now to get started with?
No, I don't have $100,000. That's why I'm looking for ways to increase money.
Right, because remember that 1% of 100,000 is your $1,000 a month.
Oh, I see. Well, I
So,
don't have that. So, I mean, is there any other way for me to get there?
Yes, you can build it up. You can start where you are and then gradually build up to the point where you can get to that 50,000, initially 50,000, and then beyond that.
Okay.
How
Well,
much can you start with, Laura?
Today?
Yes.
Well, today I can start with 5,000.
Excellent. That 5,000, if you take 1% of that, that's going to earn you that $50 a day. $50 a day, 10 days is 500. 30 days is that's $1,500 a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's $1,500 a month. So that's over
Mhm.
that's over my 1,000.
Did I do my math right, Miss Laura? I'll have to double
I
check, make sure
guess.
I right. But yes, that's over your 1,000. So let's get you started making that $1,500 a month.
That would do it. That would do
All
it.
right. All right. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So that's a great way to end the call with the professionals, right? So I love it. I knew she would bring the heat, and Dr. Arlene was calm, cool, and collected the whole time, right?
You'd have
And
failed me a couple times. You'd have
well,
failed me
it's
a
just
couple times, Angel, because I used that investment word.
only the investment, but that's just, that's just technicality. All of us are saying that, so we have to catch ourselves. So it's just a slip of a tongue, and it happens all the time. So, that aside from that, right? And your client won't be able to tell at all that you were just like, oops. But they would not tell. The flow, of course, is what it was, and I love that. This is where you take yourself from just a role player to a professional role player, because as you can see, when she handled the objections, right? So when you dissect how she handled it, right? She not only agreed, which is the normal way to agree, and then she acknowledged it, right? Because she said, I do, same thing, same thing that happens to me. But she took it a step further, and she brought humor. And I don't know if you remember last week, one of the trainers had said, that humor, right? Humor solidifies it, right? So she brought humor into, she said, I tell my kids the same thing, right? Right? And so you know, you want to bring humor because that's the connecting feature. You want to always connect to, and that's when you take it to a professional level, you're able to add humor into your script, and that solidifies that sale, right? And so I love that. She gave her different choices when she asked, okay, this is how much that I love how she asked, you know, I want to make this a certain amount. And instead of, instead of Dr. Arlene saying, yeah, this and just answering the question, she gave her choices, right? Like she said, well, you can do it this way with the 1%, and we have our binary. We also have our a direct bonus. And so she gave her different options. So, and so that Laura can realize where she fits in to that. So she found out that Laura only wants to do the 1%. She doesn't want to do any extra. And so when she found that out, she scaled it down and say, okay, if you're only going to do the 1%, then the fastest way to your goal is for you to put in this amount of money. And Laura said, hold on, I don't have that much money to start, right? You see how it's playing out right there, right? So she said, hold on. So this is Dr. Arlene setting her expectations. And that's what you want to do for your prospect. You want to set the expectations because they're just so excited. They're thinking they're going to put in $1,000 and get to $1 million like tomorrow. And when they don't, they get upset, right? So Dr. Arlene right here strategically set, if you don't have the capital to get started to reach that 100,000 goal of yours, then we need to start you where you fit in, but you also have to be okay with the amount of money that you're going to be making in that process. So she scaled it down, right? So now Laura is not coming in to thinking that she's going to make 100,000 by the end of 2024. She's coming in and realizing that she's going to gradually, right? Gradually make more money until she reaches that goal of 100,000. It may be at the end of the year, but it may not be. But Dr. Arlene has already set that expectation for her. Right? So when you dive into these things, you can see how the conversation changes, right? Right. So thank you, Dr. Arlene. Thank you, Ms. Laura Johnson, for knocking that out of the park and showing our GCU how professionals do it. And so that is all for our Crash Camp today. So thank you, everyone, for allowing me to host, and Mr. and Mrs. Bean for allowing me to host and share everything with you all as well. So have a great Saturday. Bye, everyone.